Alright guys, I'm headed out here. I'm gonna see how cheap it is to get. What I need is a underbody cradle. My buddy, it's something about these I don't know, man, Challengers and Chargers. Well, it's something about any car that's driving over objects in the road or whatever. But my friend, we just did one of these at Brothers Motors. In fact, I just uploaded that video. I think it went out today or yesterday. Well, anyway, he bent his frame. He think the frame is bent, but it actually damaged the cradle, guys. I talked about this in that video. Some things it's okay if it's not OEM, okay? And a cradle is one of them. It's just a piece of iron, steel. It's just a tool that's used to house the engine, guys. The engine from the frame. Okay, now you're gonna have a frame, you're gonna have a cradle, you're gonna have an engine sitting in the cradle. What's between the engine and the cradle? Likely support mounts, engine mounts, motor mounts is what some people call them. Okay, but my point is, some things do not have to be brand new. Some parts do not have to be OEM brand new. Okay. Yes, guys, a lot of things out here you can get. It's okay to get used. Now, this thing brand new, Mopar OEM at the dealer, like $700. Holy crap. And it's the same piece of iron steel that's in a used car that's at the salvage yard. The only thing is, it just don't look as pretty. And the fact is, who's going to see it anyways underneath your car? It doesn't have to look a certain way. All right, I mean, in fact, if you want to go to the extreme, when you get a used one that's ugly, merely grind it down and paint it. There's no big deal, man. But some people get caught up in the hype, guys. No, I want a new and brand new OEM. Oh my goodness, man, you wasting money. Now, a couple things. Matter of fact, we can make this the topic. Here's parts you shouldn't get from the scrap yard to go on your car. Okay, top 3 parts you should not get from a salvage yard or a scrap yard to put in your car. All right, that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about after this red light turns green, guys. Hold tight. Let me go to a break right quick. All right, guys, the light is green. Top 3 parts you should not get from a salvage yard. That just happened to be the place I'm headed to right now. And we're going to focus in. We're going to zone in on sensors. Now, I know a lot of people like to grab used parts from a used salvage yard. It makes sense, right? Yes. The problem is some parts do not make sense, and to me, you just have to buckle down. I'd much rather you get a aftermarket new part than a used part off a used car. And what I'm talking about is sensors, guys. Let's zone in on a couple sensors. Yes, I've seen this with my own eyes. People out here grabbing O2 sensors off of salvage yard cars. Oh my goodness, O2 sensors, guys. What is the average cost of O2 sensor? I don't know, 60 bucks maybe. Now, I shouldn't belittle someone's finances because I'm not in their shoes. I might not understand their struggle. All right, so I will not do that. I apologize if I offended anybody. I will not belittle anyone's finances. Okay, now, but as far as chances you're taking, yes, you will be taking a huge chance dealing with oxygen sensor off of used cars. Number one, you don't know why the car is in the salvage yard in the first place. It could have been a blown engine, and they decided in order to fix it will exceed the value of the car, so they might as well salvage it. They say if your engine blown or your engine, shot and blown, chances are your O2 sensor is no good. Imagine if it's burning oil or water. All that has to pass through the oxygen sensor. So you have, in essence, knocked a lot of life off those sensors. Okay? O2 sensors, that's one. Number 2, let's go to number 2. Ignition sensors, guys. What I mean by ignition sensors, every car has to have a way. Every modern car today, this day and age, it's computer controlled, computer operated. All right? Which means that computer needs to know where specific parts is on the engine. What I'm referring to is your crankshaft and your camshaft. Now, the way the computer can tell where these two components are located or where they at and what they're doing and how they are rotating, they use sensors to detect this. And the sensors are merely called crank sensor and a cam sensor. Guys, these do not need to be used. Alright, these have an important job to do. Its job is to tell the computer where it's cylinder 1, 2, and 3 on the crankshaft. I mean, as it relates to the crankshaft. So that crank sensor tells the computer this information. The computer merely processes the information, which will allow the proper firing order of the engine that will make it run well. Alright, so try to steer clear of ignition sensors from salvage yard, cam or crank, either one. They should not be used, again, because you don't know how much wear it's been through, and you don't know if it's good or bad. That comes without saying. Alright, now number 3, the third one I want to talk about. I'm gonna stop at 3, guys. The third one I talk about, and I see this a lot. Oh my goodness, guys, hub bearings, wheel bearings. Some people call them wheel bearings, some people call them hub bearings. Guys, that is some risky stuff, especially considering well, it's gonna be hard to grab a press fit hub bearing. You would grab the complete knuckle. I did see a guy grabbing a knuckle assembly off a PT Cruiser. I can only assume he have that vicious PT Cruiser hub bearing noise. Yes, and that happens a lot. So instead of just grabbing, you can't just grab the bearing. You need a press machine to even press it out. So he grabbed the whole knuckle. My point is, guys, it is risky business dealing with bearings of any sort from a used car, salvage yard car. All right, you can grab it and feel it 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and see if there's any play. But guys, there's no way you can physically put that bearing under as much load as the car would and spin it. Okay, so you cannot simulate a bearing being used in your hand as it would being used on a car with that much load. So that is my third and final no as far as used parts from a salvage yard, guy. So, alright, so that's all I want to talk about, man. Like I said, I'm on my way up here to grab a couple of parts. One in particular, guys, EGR valve and some more things off a Dodge Charger or a Challenger or either one. I need my friend have a problem. Most of my customers, guys, they don't have hardly any money, and I'm basically trying to help them. I have no problem with helping them up until a point where I have to physically do some work. Now, because I have to go out here anyway, I told her if I see one, I would grab one. Okay, it's fairly easy to put on. I would put it on. Now, you can merely go through the process of diagnosing it. Yes, sure, I can diagnose it, guys, but EGR valves are funny sometimes. They will not always set a code, but they can be stuck in the open position, have your car running rich, have your vacuum low, have you setting all kinds of crazy fault codes. Every fault code besides the one you're looking for, which is EGR valve circuitry, or has failed, or some form of code pointing toward the EGR valve, but we're not even getting that, and that is what I suspect. EGR valve open. My adaptive memory is out of whack, and there's a number of things that could cause that, but the number one thing to me, based on my experience, is EGR valve. Alright, so guys, I'm gonna end this video. We'll talk some more when I get out here. I'll see y'all then. Stay tuned.